Hello everyone, this is Jim Nix from nomadicpursuits.com, and in this video we're going to talk about taming backlit subjects. That is, when you're shooting into the sun and the light is coming toward you instead of shining on your subject from behind you, it can create sort of a hazardous condition in many ways for taking crisp, clear photos. And so how do you isolate the subject and allow the photo to really shine through, so to speak? So let's talk about that. Now, the first thing to be aware of here is this is not my photo. This photo was taken by Lori Rubin. She's a very excellent photographer out of California, does a lot of wildlife, loves horses, and does a lot of work with MacFun. So this is her photo, and I absolutely love it. When I first opened it, I just thought it was fabulous. The only thing I've done to this photo prior to what I'm about to do is I cropped it. I gave it a 16:9 sort of cinematic crop instead of in the 3:2 aspect ratio that it was in. All I basically did was crop out a little bit more of the sort of golden grass there. So now I want to take this photo and I want to sort of bring it to life, isolate the subjects, and really sort of amp up that golden warm tone that you can see is in the image, but we're going to have some fun with it. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is move the temp and the temperature, and I just want to go ahead and warm these up a little bit. And the reason I'm using the tint is because many times this grass will start to get sort of a green tint. So I'm taking the tint sort of proactively to the right to sort of overcome that. Now contrast, I'm going to go ahead and just drag it all the way to the right. I rarely do that in a photo because most photos have some contrast inherently, but when you have a backlit image like that, there was really no contrast in the photo, as you can see. It's literally none, and I think dragging that all the way to the right really enhances that and gives it a bit of contrast that was non-existent otherwise. So I'm going to give a little bit of HDR enhance just to crisp up some details. Now Smart Tone, I'm going to take this to the left. I want to go a little darker in the right places, and Smart Tone's great at that, and that's really what it does. If I'm going dark here, it's going to darken the spots that are kind of bright, but it's not going to darken the dark spots, which are these horses and these people. So I think that works well. Next, I'm going to take highlights down. There's a lot of highlight in the photo because the sun is coming right at me. So I want to take that down a little bit. I'm actually going to take the shadows down slightly as well. Maybe about like that. And I'm going to drag the whites to the right. Hey, let me show you that. There you go. So let me show you where we've come from. There's the before, and here's the current state. So we've come a long way, and I think we've isolated the subject really well. And I think drawn the viewer's attention and much more closely than you can with it being so backlit and lacking contrast. So I think we're getting there, but we got a few more things to do. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to give the vibrance a boost because I'm really going for sort of the excitement of the scene and giving a little bit more golden touch. But vibrance isn't going to drag the saturation of all the colors crazy. It's just going to make them a bit more punchy, and that's what I'm looking to do. Now I'm going to add Image Radiance here. Image Radiance, I think, gives a nice romantic glow to a photo, and I think this is a prime subject. This type of photo is perfect. You can see what it's done, the before and the after. It also allowed some of the mist maybe coming off of this horse, or maybe that's the horse's breath in the sunlight getting captured. It really brought that to life, I think. But I am going to drag the shadows about the same to about 50, just to keep from making the subjects too dark in this photo. So now I'm going to go use glow. That's not a filter I use all the time, and I wouldn't normally think to use it on this photo, but I was messing around with it prior to the video, and I really liked it. So I'm going all the way. I'm just going all the way to the right. I think it creates a really interesting effect here with the light, how it's coming in through these trees and sort of between the horses and all that. Let me show you the before and the after. I think it really gives it, no pun intended, a nice glow. And in fact, I'm actually going to brighten the glow a little bit to give it almost sort of a magical sort of feel, as though the light is shining on these people specifically, like the heavens have parted, so to speak, and shining down on them. So I think that looks really cool. I'm going to go into top and bottom tuning. I'm going to drop the exposure a little bit in the top, something like that. And I'm going to bump the contrast up a pretty good ways. I want to keep the contrast high in this photo because that's how I'm isolating the subjects. And I'm going to do a similar thing here with the bottom. I'm going to go a little bit more on the exposure reduction and a little bit more on the contrast increase. Again, just sort of pumping up that contrast, because when I added the glow here, that really created sort of took away some of the contrast. So I'm kind of bringing it back. I think it looks neat. It's definitely unique and interesting, I think, and that makes it a lot of fun. And the only other thing I would do here is go into HSL, and I'd go into the hue for the yellows, and I'm just going to take a little bit to the left, maybe like 40 or so. And all I'm trying to do is make it further away from the green, because when I undo that, you can see the yellow hills in the background are really, there's some green grass, and they're really picking up that green. When we've done so much contrast, it does throw off color sometimes. And so I'm basically adjusting the hue of the yellow to make it more towards the yellow and less toward the green, so that it doesn't pick up the green in the hills. And that's really it. Let me show you the before and after. I think we've come a long way. It's a beautiful photo, and I think now it's sort of a romantic, beautiful photo. We've added some interesting light bits here, a lot of contrast, really great golden tones, and I love the photo. So great job, Laurie, capturing it. I hope that everybody enjoys the edit as much as I enjoyed editing this one, and I hope that it helps you when you're trying to tame backlit subjects. Experiment with some of these techniques, see how they work for you, and once again, here's the before and after. There's the before, there's the after. All right, folks, thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate it. Let us know if you have any questions, and we'll see you next time.